Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Easy QA Automation. So in today's session, we are going to learn about how to run tests in Playwright based upon environment variables. So what is the problem statement? What is the main agenda of today's session? So many times people are asking about, hey, we have the scripts ready in the Playwright, but we want to run that same script in the QA environment. We want to run that same script in the development environment. We want to run that same script in the production environment. Yeah, we can run, but what is the problem? The actual problem is here. Let's discuss that problem. Okay, so let's assume that this is my application under test automationexercise.com/login. This is the login page. Let's imagine this is our production environment. This is my production URL. I can log in using user ID. I can use the password, and after hitting the login button, I can go to the next page. Okay, but in actual real-time project, what is happening? Suppose this is your production environment. Maybe this is the URL, but everything is same. This elements may be same, this UI may be the same, interaction may be same, but what is different? Maybe this URL is different. Let's say here maybe it contain, if there is a development environment .dev.com/login. If there is a staging environment, it may contain stage.com.login. If it is a QA environment, it may contain automationexercise.qa.com/login. Rest is same, but the URL is changing, and also email address, the password that may also get changes. So login credential also different, and the URL is different, but the rest of the thing is same. So how to achieve this? Everything is same, but URL is changing. We have already run this. We have already written this script. Elements are the same. So we want to run that same script based upon the environment variable, and maybe that environment having the different login credential. So how to achieve that? So okay, let's say this is the production environment, and for this production environment, let's say my user ID is this is the my user ID practice. This is for only practice, and I'm just hitting the password, and once I log in, okay, sorry, this is the, it is asking about the, okay, email address. Okay, prod test pw@gmail.com. So this is my user ID, this is the password, and I'm just hitting the login button. What is happening? Okay, your email and password is incorrect, something I'm missing. Okay, yeah, the spelling is wrong, sorry about that. gmail.com. Okay, let me enter password again and the login. Okay, now it get logged in. So this is my production environment. Let's imagine this is my production environment, and you can see logged in as a prod test. Okay, this is the indication that yes, we are in the production environment. Let's log out from this. Again, consider this is your development environment. URL is different. Everything is up. Rest of the thing is same, but only URL is different. Let's say the user ID for dev is dev test pw@gmail.com. Let's enter the password and let's hit the login. Okay, can you see logged in as a dev? Again, log out. Again, just imagine that this is my QA environment, and the credential for QA environment is QA test pw@gmail.com. Why I've kept pw? Just we are discussing about Playwright, so that's why I just kept pw. Let's enter the password, login. Okay, login gets successful. Can you see that logged in as a QA test? So this is the 3 login credentials, 3 different environments. So environment is different, but can you see UI part is same, elements are the same, interactions are the same, only login credentials are different. And maybe in actual scenario, here you can see there is a same URL, but in actual environment, the URL is different. Okay, so how to handle this? Same script should run in across all the environment. So how to achieve that? See, let's go into the Playwright framework. So this is my Playwright framework, and you can see here in Explorer session, this is the basic folder structure in the Playwright framework. So I have already installed the Playwright framework. Now I am assuming that you know the Playwright. You already have hands-on practice in Playwright. You are already running the test in Playwright, but your problem is you want to run the single script in multiple environment. That's why you are watching this video. You are not here to learn about what is Playwright, how to install Playwright, how to write the test, what is describe block, what is test, what is page, what is browser context. No, I'm not going to discuss that. Okay, and just see, this is the Playwright.CONFIG.TS file. Listen carefully. This is .ts means I am using Playwright framework, and which programming language I am using? TypeScript. I am always preferring TypeScript. Why? Again, I am not going to discuss why. What is the advantage of using TypeScript over JavaScript? Okay. So you know what is the advantage. We can simply use the oops concept using TypeScript. We can create the class. We can create the interface, everything, whatever the oops concept that we can utilize using the TypeScript. Okay, so that is not our main agenda of today's session. So the main agenda is different. How to run test in multiple environment. Okay, so again, before going in detail in today's session, how you are running the Playwright test? There is command. What is that command? npx playwright test. So whenever you are hitting this command, npx playwright test, what is happening behind the scene? So what is happening behind the scene? Once you hit this command, then Playwright is going to scan or going to search playwright.config.ts file, and inside this config.ts file, Playwright is going to scan for test directory property. You can see this property, and Playwright is going to see which path is given. So path is here ./test. So here, what is mean by this ./test? Dot means this is the root project structure or root project directory, that is Playwright, and inside that root project directory there is a folder name as test. Where is that folder? Test. And Playwright is going to scan about is there any spec or any test or any script is written. Yes, here is the login script is written, and Playwright is going to run all the script under the test folder. Here there is only one script, so in this case only one script will run. So this is what happening when you are hitting this npx playwright test command. This is what actually happening behind the scene. So I hope you understood this, what is actually happening. Now consider that I have written the test. What is the name of the test? Verify login functionality with correct user and password. This is my production URL. This is my production user ID. This is my password. Everything is hard coded. Then I have just find out the locators of email ID, password, login button. Then I'm just filling email.id. What is the my user ID? What is the password? Then I'm going to click the login button. After clicking, I'm just going to search what is the state of user after logging. See, this is what the text user after login. Where is that user after logging? So I have just searched for this locator, and I'm going to extract text from this element, and based upon that I'm going to validate my test case. How I can validate my test case? Expect that this element should contain this string, that is prod test, right? I already show you. Once I logged in as a production credentials, then logged in as a prod test, that is showing, right? So if you are login as a dev, then there is a different dev test. If you are logging as a QA login credential, then there is a logged in as a QA test. Likewise, so this is the script. So how I can run this script? Simple. npx playwright test. Hit this command. Let's say what is happening. So running one test in one worker. Okay, it is opening the automationexercise.com. Yes. Okay, can you see logged in as a protest? Oh, it's quite fast. Though I have given the 2-second pause, you can see one passed. Can you see here? I have console.log, name of production user, and I have extracted state of user after login. Where is that? See, state of user after login. This element, from this element I have extracted the text, and this text is stored into this variable, and this variable I have just printed into the terminal in the console. And you can see name of the production user is logged in as a prod test. So this is what I use the template literals. Okay, so you understood. So this test got passed. But now, what is the main issue? All the values are hard coded. Production URL, production credential, and then we are validating the product. We are validating against the production environment. But have you seen this application? Everything is same. Only URL is changing. Let's say here URL is same, but let's assume that URL is changing and login credential is changing based upon the environment variable. But rest of the thing is same. So the question is, if I want to run the same script in QA, how I can run? If I want to run same script in dev environment, how I can run? So that we are going to talk about. Okay, so again, before that, I just wanted to discuss something about the object in the TypeScript. Why I'm going to discuss, you are going to understand what is the importance of this small session that I'm going to discuss regarding the object. So let's say if you want to store the detail of employee, how you can store the employee details using object? Very simple. Let's create one object, const emp details. This is the name of the object. Okay, then this is the syntax of object. Then key, let's say we want to store the employee name, emp name. Okay, the name of the employee John. Okay, let's again store the employee age. What is the age of employee? Let's say 40. Okay, and now I want to paste the value of employee name, employee age. I want to print these values, print these properties. How I can print? Very simple, just console.log. I assume that you know the basic of TypeScript, you know the object, but something special I want to show you. Console.log, how we can paste the value of the property of any object. Employee details, this is the name of object, dot automatic suggestion employee name. Okay, let's run this. See, can you see John? Okay, but there is another way. This is the popular way, most of the people are following this way, but there is another way how we can paste the property. Console.log. Okay, emp employee details dot. No, I don't want to use this approach. Just take the square bracket and let's start typing emp name. There is no suggestion, definitely something we are missing. Just give the double quote and let's start typing emp. Can you see there is suggestion emp name? Okay, let's run this program. Okay, let's clear the console and again run this. Can you see this console.log printing this John and this console.log printing this John? Means there are two ways to paste the property details from any object. This is one approach and this is another approach. What is this approach? Just take the name of the object, in front of that square bracket and inside square bracket, in the double quote as a string, write the key. What is key here? Employee name. If you want to employee, you can simply write employee age. Let's run this. Can you see 40? Okay, again clear the console, run this program again. Can you see? So remember this, we are going to use this in our later session. Okay, now came to our Playwright framework. Now, this is the test, but I want to run the same test in the QA environment, in the dev environment. How I can run? Okay, just do one thing. This is your project directory. Just create one folder, name as environment, name as env, whatever you want. I have just created one folder, one directory, and what is the name of that directory? env. Inside that directory, I have created dev.ts file, prod.ts, and qa.ts based upon our environment. Let's go inside the prod.ts file. So prod.ts, what I have created object. What is the name of this object? Prod. And what is the properties? What I have stored in this object? There is a URL. So this URL is related to prod. This is the prod URL. This is the user ID, prod user ID, prod login credentials. This is the password, and this is what I'm going to validate after login. Similarly, create dev.ts file, object, name of object. This is the development URL. This is the dev credentials, user ID, password, and this is the text you are going to validate after login. This is the qa.ts. Again, same. This is the your QA URL. This is the QA credential, user ID, password, and this is the text that you are going to validate after login. So just create the three files based upon your environment. If there is a staging environment, you just simply create staging.ts file and just create the object and write all the details. For example, I have written only this four detail: URL, user ID, password, and the I just whatever the text I want to validate that I stored here. Okay. If you observe, this is my object. Okay, but I have used one keyword, export. Now you know what is the meaning of export. So if I want to use this object in other folder, in the same project directory, in other file, so how I can use? Just export from here. So if it is exported from here, then it is available in the other files. Now, I hope you understood this. After this, just go to the PLAYWRIGHT.CONFIG.TS file, and before this, define config. Before this file, whatever files we have created this based upon environment in env folder in the main projects directory, just import it. How to import it? I'm going to tell you the simple way. Don't write everything. Suppose you have written this prod file and you have just exported this. So you have exported this. Let's import here. How to import? You have exported prod file. Prod, just write prod. There is automatic suggestion. Can you see prod? Where is this prod? This in this .env.prod. Just hit enter. So where is that? See, can you see here? It get imported. Just remove this. So don't write everything import curly bracket prod from this. No, just write that file name. Automatic VS Code gives the automatic suggestion. Just hit enter, and this prod file get imported from this folder. Now we can use here. Okay, I hope you understood this part up to this. Now, whatever you have imported, let's store in object. Can you see? I have created one object. What is the name of this object? The name of this object is environment configs, and whatever prod qa dev this imported, I have stored in prod key. So this prod I have stored in this prod key, and basically now you understood how I have written this. I have written in the double quote. I already told you. You can fetch like this, or you can write this key like this also in double quote. See, there is no error. You can write in double quote also, right? This is the another way to write the object, and in this way you can fetch that object property. So in same way, this prod I have stored in this key, this dev I have stored in this key, this qa I have stored in this key. Okay, and what is the name of this object? Environment configs. Okay, Can you see here prod? There is something URL, user ID, password, string, string, string. Can you see here dev import QA? Okay. So means whatever we have written in this folder, now that is available here. Okay, let's go to the next step. See, everything is interrelated with each other. Now, what is our main agenda? Our main agenda is we have already written this script, and at the runtime we want to give, hey playwright, I want to run this script in prod environment, I want to run in prod, I want to run in dev environment, playwright, I want to run in QA environment. So at the runtime we are going to tell to the playwright, to the command line, hey, I want to run this script in QA, dev and the product environment. So how to achieve that? So whenever we want to specific something at the runtime, then node is going to provide one property to us. What is that property? Process.environment. Process.env. So can you see this process.env came from the node, the process. This is the node js.process. Then env also this is came from the node. So process.env means what? Whatever we are going to write at the runtime in command line, that is going to store here in process.env. And where we want to store? We want to store in one variable. Let's say give name to that variable is .env. What is this? .env means, see how we are running the test. So now suppose you are in the PowerShell. At the runtime, if you want to run your test in prod environment, how you are going to say to the command line, hey command line, I want to run test in prod environment. Then what is the syntax? $env, this env, process.env, and this env, which variable we have given, this env. Okay, here you can use whatever environment, env1, env2, whatever you want. I just use capital env. So this capital env I have kept here, and I'm going to say in this capital env, let's pass string prod. So I want to run test in production environment. So this prod is stored in this env. Can you understand? And this prod, this all process.env dot capital env, this is going to replace with prod. If we give dev here, this is going to replace by dev, this total. If you give the QA, this is going to replace by the QA. So are you understand what is the use of this? So this is not the reference, process.env.env. This env means this env. We are passing this dev string in this variable, and this is going to here, and then it will become the prod, it will become the QA, it will become the dev, whatever we are passing at the runtime. I hope you understand this. And now what is this? I'm not going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about this later. You will understand this. Just have a patience. Everything I'm going to talk about step by step. Now, whatever environment I'm going to give at the runtime, for example, here is dev, that I'm going to store in one of the variable name as environment. Okay. This environment variable is going to store the runtime environment. Let's say here is the dev. So now this environment become dev, right? This variable is storing the dev. If it is prod, this environment will store the prod. Okay. Now, in next step, I have taken this object. Can you see? Environment configs. And then can you understand now? In front of this object name, I have given the square bracket and I have passed this environment. The same variable, whatever here, same variable I passed here. Suppose if I passed prod here, then this total is going to replace by prod. And this prod is going to store in this environment. And this environment is passed is here. So environment config prod. But prod means this. And what is stored in this prod? Well, this is what is stored in this prod. Are you getting? So this is what the relation. See, this prod will go here, then this prod is stored in this environment, and again this prod came here, and based upon this environment, based upon the runtime environment, this is going to page this object. If there is a dev, this is going to page this property. If there is a QA, this is going to page this property. Are you getting what is happening here? So initially we have imported file with the same name, we have make the object, then whatever runtime we are going to give, this the runtime environment we are going to store in the environment variable, the same environment variable we are going to pass in the square bracket for this object, and based upon this object is going to fetch this property, and this property contains this detail, and here is the detail, here is the detail, here is the detail. This is what happening. This is what the happening. Now, I hope you understood this step, this up to this. Now, what I have done, then I have created one function. Don't worry, everything you are going to understand step by step. Once I run the script, then you will come to know, oh my God, this is what happening based upon this, all the setting. Just have a patience, just have a patience. You are going to understand everything. You are going to enjoy this, how to run the test based upon multiple environment. Okay, so now I have created one function, load test files, and this function is taking one parameter. What is that parameter? Environment. You can give any name. Let's say run time environment. Any name you can give. That's not matter. Okay, if I give this runtime environment, okay, or simply keep design environment, no, there is no restriction. You can give any name, but this load test files is taking one parameter. What is the type of that parameter? Is string, and in this function I have used one switch condition, switch statement, and in switch statement I have passed this environment variable. Where is that environment variable? This is what the environment, this is what this environment, and based upon this environment I have given the case. If the case is prod, if the case is dev, if the case is QA, just return this path. What is this path? Dot slash test means, dot means root project directory, inside that there is a test folder, and under test folder this is the test, and after this came down in this define config file, there is a test directory property. Now just replace this test directory property using this function. See, load, just call this function load test file and just give the argument. Which argument? This, let's take, give the argument this environment. And what is this argument? Whatever environment we are going to store here, the same argument we are passing here. Suppose if you are passing the prod environment at the runtime, then it will came here, this environment variable will store the prod, then based upon this prod, this property will fetch, again this prod will go, this function is going to take this prod, then this prod will come to here, then switch will search for the prod, case is prod, if the case is prod, return this, if the case is dev, return this, if the case is QA, return this. So for all the cases the same return. What is that? Is this test folder. Let's save this file, and now let's say what is happening. Now came to our test login.spec.ts. Now there is one thing. What is this? Whatever the property I have fetched from the object, that property is stored into this env config. Remember, in env config. Now came to our test, whatever hard coded value, just remove this, just remove this, remove all the hard coded value, remove this, everything, everything. Okay, so what is this env config? whatever the property. See, can you see this env config object? This object is containing prod, dev, qa. This, can you see? These all details, and this all details is stored into this env config variable. Now you understand why I talked about this. This is the way of fetching the property from object. Now you understand. Okay, let's save this. Now came to the test login.spec.ts file. Whatever env config this variable stored all the detail of the object. This all detail is stored in this env config, and then just export this variable. Just export. By exporting this, you can use this variable anywhere in the project structure. Okay, let's again go to the spec file. This is the test we have written. Now await page.goto. Hey playwright, go to where we want to go to. env config. Can you see env config suggestion? And where is this variable env config? In playwright.config.ts file. Just hit enter. Automatically this is going to import. Can you see it get imported? But while importing, VS Code forget to write extension.ts. Just write this, don't forget to write this .ts extension. And can you see env config dot, just type url. Can you see this url? Env config url. And where is this url? See, you can see here is url, this is the url, this is the url. So env config.url. Then what is the email id? env config dot user id. Can you see this user id which we have stored in this prod.ts, dev.ts, pure.ts? Then similarly env config whatever environment, based upon that give the password. I think there is small password. Let's, yeah, small password. Okay, and then again dot to contain. What should contain? env config dot, what is the key? Logged in user. Okay, env config dot logged in user. Can you see? Yes. Now just save this file. Now can you see this test? There is nothing hard coded. Just forget this element. You can also write this element in this object also. No worry. That is another part. Okay. Now came to the command line. Just don't forget here should be PowerShell. And now I want to run the same test in production environment. How I can run? Hey command line. Hey command line. Take the environment variable, that is env. See, process.env. And in this env, I have given the capital env variable, and in this variable store this variable prod. Whatever the string, the same name should be there, prod. And whenever there is this environment, then run the test npx playwright test. Okay, so running one test using one worker. Okay, Chromium get launch. Yeah, let's say what is happening. Can you see automation exercise? Let's see. Yes, see prod test. Can you see this logged in as a prod test? Yeah, it's quick. Okay, let me give again the at the end await wait for page dot wait for timeout. Okay, let's give just 4000 millisecond, that is per second, and let me hit again the command. So in prod, run the test. Okay, running one test using one worker. Okay, the same script. Okay, yeah. Can you see? Okay, again it's quick. So this logged in as a prod test. Okay, one get passed. Now see the same script. Now I'm just changing the environment variable. Instead of prod, let's just give dev and then hit enter. Now it should be logged in as a dev test or dev. Okay, yes, Chromium get launched. Again the email address, password, logged in. And can you see logged in as a dev? Yes, yeah, it get passed. Name of production user is logged in as a dev. Earlier it is logged in as a prod test. Now let's see what is happening when his environment is QA. So let's pass here QA and hit enter. Okay. Yes, running one test. Yes, it's running. Application get launched. Again, email address, password. It should take the whatever QA credential. Okay, it is taking time. Definitely something is going wrong. We need to check later. It's taking time. Okay. Yeah, it get failed. Why it get failed? Let's see. Consider splitting slow. Okay. Page.go to the, let's check the envconfig.url. See here the URL. Okay. I think it's same. Create test pwgmail.com. Okay. Okay, let's run one more time. Okay, running one test. Application get launched. Okay, yeah, this time it's taken. Okay, logged in. Can you see? Logged in as a QA test. See, the same script we are running. This is the single script. Where is the script? This is the single script, but the same script is running based upon the environment, whatever we are giving at the runtime. And can you see the beauty of this framework, or whatever we adapt the method just by creating the separate environment file for dev, prod, QA, then this all the files we are importing in the playwright.config.ts. This is what all the file importing. Then after that we are creating one object. In this object everything gets stored. Can you see? Everything gets stored for QA, for dev, for the prod. And then we are just looking whatever the environment we are giving at the runtime, that environment we are storing in environment variable. Same environment variable we are passing while fetching the object property, because see, whatever name here, the key, the name is given, same name we are using at the runtime. So then it will fetch this object detail. Depend upon that object detail, it will fetch the URL, user ID, password based upon the environment. See, if you are giving QA, it will give the detail of the QA. Can you see here? envconfig.url. Where is that envconfig? See, this envconfig contains all the details. So envconfig, let's say if we give QA, then this become what? This environment config, instead of environment it become QA. And where is QA? This is the QA, right? And what is inside the QA? Inside QA, this is this property. So envconfig.qa, or sorry, envconfig means QA. So QA.url, it will take this QA.user ID, it will take this user ID, QA.password, it will take this user password. So like this. And then based upon the environment also we are returning the path of the test folder, and this test folder path we are passing here. So dynamically we are loading the test file for this test directory property. We are not giving explicitly this is what our path dot slash test. No, everything based upon environment. So just single command and rest everything taken care by this structure, by this logic, whatever we have implemented for this playwright framework. Now you understand how we can run the single script based upon the environment variable. I hope you understood, and definitely you are going to use this in your project. It's very simple. Just create the three files, import, create the object, then just pass the runtime environment, store in the environment, again paste this object using the same environment, then create one function load test file, and this function you can use here while running the test at the runtime. So whatever the environment, based upon that environment, your test directory folder will will be created, and that folder will be run at the time of runtime, whatever environment you are giving. I hope you understood the logic whatever implemented in this framework, and definitely you are going to use in your project structure. So this is what the today's agenda, and this is what all about today's session, how we can write or how we can run the same script, the single script across all the environment, just by implementing this logic. Okay, so again in next session, again we are going to learn how we can run the number of tests based upon the different condition. Suppose if you want to run the smoke suit, then we can run that test. If you want to run a regression suit, how we can run? If you want to run a sanity suit, then how we can run? So that also we are going to see. And also in next session, the same how we can achieve in WebDrive framework, that also we are going to learn. I hope you understood this. So if you really like this video, please subscribe my channel. Thank you. We'll meet in next session.